Have you ever just stopped and wondered, what is this thing, this experience of being you? What is this private inner world of thoughts and feelings that you live in every single second? Well, today, we're going to dive into one of the biggest, most fascinating mysteries in all of science: consciousness itself. So here's the game plan for our journey. We'll start with what's called the stream of consciousness. Then we'll set our baseline with our everyday waking state. After that, we're going to explore what lies beyond ordinary awareness. We'll even look at how science is trying to crack the code. And finally, we'll talk about why any of this actually matters to you. All right, let's jump right in. Section 1, the stream of consciousness, which is really the mystery of you. So let's start with the absolute biggest question of them all. What is consciousness? I mean, it feels like it's everything to us, right? It's the most basic fact of our existence. But man, it is so hard to pin down. It's your awareness of the room you're in, but it's also your sense of self, your feelings, your memories. It's the whole show. You know, thinkers have been wrestling with this for ages. Way back in 1890, the brilliant psychologist William James came up with this perfect metaphor. He said, look, consciousness isn't some clunky, jointed thing that you can take apart. No. He said, it flows. This idea of a continuous stream of thought was a total game changer, helping us picture our inner world as this fluid, ever-moving river. So, taking that amazing metaphor and bringing it into today, modern psychology gives us a pretty solid working definition. It's an individual's subjective experience of awareness. And that word subjective is key. It's your experience. But here's the most important part. It's not just one thing. It's a whole spectrum of different states, from deep, dreamless sleep to being laser-focused. And that spectrum is exactly what we're going to explore. So to really get a handle on that spectrum, we need a starting point, a baseline. Let's get into section 2, your everyday waking state. This is the state you're in right now, the one we all know so well. Our normal, alert consciousness is basically our mind's toolkit. We've got active attention, you're focusing on my voice, you've got problem solving, working memory to juggle ideas, and of course all the planning and decision-making you do all day long. This is pretty much your brain's default operating system. And this isn't just some abstract idea. We can actually see it in action. Brain scans show that when we're in this alert state, there's a ton of activity firing up, especially in the prefrontal cortex, that part of your brain right behind your forehead. You can think of it as the CEO of your brain, handling all that high-level planning and thinking. Okay, so we've got our baseline. Now for the really fun part. Let's venture out into the wilds of the mind. Section 3, Beyond Ordinary Awareness. Let's take a tour of altered states. Now, one of the most common altered states we all visit every night is sleep. But even sleep isn't just one thing. It's this incredible two-act play. First, you have NREM sleep. That's for physical rest and for cementing your memories, kind of like saving your files. But then you shift into REM sleep. That's when your brain activity lights up like a Christmas tree and you have those wild, vivid dreams. It's absolutely crucial for processing your emotions. And this just shows you how incredibly varied our minds can be. Take hypnosis, for example. Someone becomes highly suggestible, and we can see in their brain that it actually changes how they perceive pain. Or look at meditation. It quiets down what scientists call the default mode network. That's the part of your brain that's always chattering and worrying, which leads to this incredible heightened awareness. And then there's that amazing flow state, where you're so immersed in something that time just disappears. It's a state of pure peak performance. Just 3 totally different ways of being conscious. And the tour is far from over. Of course, there are psychoactive drugs, which can totally rewire your conscious experience by messing with your brain chemistry. Psilocybin, for instance, also quiets down that same daydreaming default mode network we just talked about. And then there's the whole universe of the unconscious, all the stuff happening behind the scenes. Think about subliminal priming. An image flashes too fast for you to see it, but it can still change a choice you make later. It just goes to show a huge part of what drives us happens completely outside our awareness. Okay, so we've seen what these different states are like, but the billion-dollar question is, how? How does a 3-pound lump of tissue in our heads create all of this? Section 4, Cracking the Consciousness Code. One of the most popular ideas out there is called the global workspace theory, and it has this beautiful metaphor. Imagine your mind is a giant theater. Most of the work is done by specialized workers backstage, in the dark, unconsciously. But consciousness, that's the single bright spotlight on the stage. And whatever that spotlight shines on gets broadcast out to the entire theater, so all those backstage workers can coordinate and act together.
Now, that spotlight theory, it's a big one, but it's not the only horse in the race. You've also got integrated information theory, which basically says that consciousness is all about how much complex information a system can weave together. Then there are higher order thought theories, which argue that to be conscious of seeing, say, a red apple, you also have to be having a thought about the fact that you're seeing it. The truth is, no single theory has it all figured out yet, but each one gives us a crucial piece of this giant, incredible puzzle.
So this is all fascinating brain science, for sure. But what does it mean for us, really? Let's bring it all home in our final section, why this all matters, from theory back to your life. Well, understanding these states has some massive real-world implications. I mean, clinically, it's a game changer. It's opening doors for new treatments for things like depression, trauma, and chronic pain. Philosophically, wow, it makes us ask huge questions about free will and what our personal identity even is. And looking to the future, as technology like brain-computer interfaces gets more advanced, we might one day be able to interact with our own consciousness in ways we can't even dream of right now.
And that kind of leads me to the final thought I want to leave you with. If your consciousness isn't this one single, unchanging thing, if it's really this dynamic spectrum of different states, the waking you, the dreaming you, the you that's totally in the zone, then where in all of that is your true self? Is there even such a thing? It's a question that science is just starting to unravel, and it's something for every single one of us to think about.